Before we begin, take just 1 second and subscribe to this channel. If you are someone who respects history, understands value, and believes that small objects can carry enormous power, this channel is made for you. Subscribing today means you will never miss the kind of hidden stories and silent wealth that most people walk past every day. Now let me ask you something important. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it was worth more than what the world told you it was? Not what was printed on it, not what a shopkeeper would give you, but its real value. The value hidden inside its metal, its history, and the moment in time it represents. Because today, we are talking about a coin that most people would ignore. A coin many have spent, lost, or thrown into drawers. A coin that looks ordinary, feels light, and carries a number so small that it almost feels meaningless. The South Africa 2-cent coin from 1997. At first glance, it doesn't look powerful. It doesn't shine like gold. It doesn't impress like a crown-sized silver piece. It doesn't scream wealth. And that is exactly why this story matters. Men who have lived long enough understand one thing very clearly. Real value is rarely loud. Real value is quiet. It waits. It hides. And it reveals itself only to those who are patient enough to look deeper. 1997 was not just another year. For South Africa, it was a moment of transition, adjustment, and quiet rebuilding. The country had stepped into a new chapter, politically, economically, and socially. The echoes of apartheid were still fresh. The promises of a new future were still being tested. And in the middle of all that change, the South African Mint continued doing what it had always done. It produced coins for daily use. The 2-cent coin was never meant to be special. It was designed to serve, not to shine. Made for everyday transactions. Made to pass quickly from hand to hand. And because of that, most people never gave it a second thought. But history has a habit of changing the meaning of ordinary things. This coin was struck during a period when South Africa was redefining its national identity. The symbols chosen, the metals used, the quantities produced, and even the timing of production all mattered more than people realized at the time. The metal itself tells a story. By the late 1990s, global metal prices were shifting. Governments around the world were facing a simple but dangerous problem. The cost to produce small denomination coins was starting to approach, and in some cases exceed, their face value. This forced mints to make compromises. Cheaper alloys, limited runs, quiet changes that most citizens never noticed. The 1997 2-cent coin exists right inside this pressure point. Now here's where experience matters. Younger collectors often chase what looks expensive. Older collectors, especially men who have watched markets rise and fall, know better. They look for anomalies. They look for coins that shouldn't exist for long. Coins made just before a denomination becomes obsolete. Coins struck during policy shifts. Coins born at the edge of economic logic. And the South Africa 2-cent coin sits right there. Within just a few years after 1997, the 2-cent denomination would lose relevance. Inflation quietly erased its purchasing power. Eventually, it would be withdrawn from circulation. But in 1997, it was still alive, still moving, still being produced, but already standing on borrowed time. That alone makes it historically important. But history is only one layer. Another layer is survival. Think about how many of these coins were actually kept. Most were spent. Most were lost. Many were melted. Some were damaged beyond recognition. And because nobody thought they were important, almost nobody preserved them carefully. Men who understand tools, machines, land, or business know this rule. Scarcity is not just about how many were made. It's about how many survived in meaningful condition. A coin that everyone ignores is often the first to disappear. Now imagine this coin sitting in your hand. It has weight, but not much. It carries the coat of arms of a nation finding its footing. It represents a value that no longer exists in daily life. It is a witness to a moment that will never repeat. For someone in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, this coin doesn't just represent money. It represents time. It represents a world that functioned differently, a time when small change still mattered, when you could still buy something with a few cents, when economies felt more tangible, and that emotional connection is something no modern digital currency can replicate. Collectors with experience don't chase trends. They chase stories. And this coin is one that what makes it even more intriguing is that not all 1,997 2-cent coins are the same. Variations exist. Differences in strike quality. Differences in minting pressure. Minor deviations that only seasoned eyes notice. And in the world of serious collecting, minor differences create major consequences. This is where casual viewers turn away, but serious men lean in. Because once you understand that a coin is more than its face value, you start asking dangerous questions. How many were really made? How many remain untouched? How many sit forgotten in old boxes, tool drawers, inherited collections, or jars that haven't been opened in decades? And most importantly, who truly understands what they are holding? This is not about gambling. This is not about hype. This is about recognizing patterns. The same patterns that turned overlooked land into fortunes. The same patterns that turned dismissed companies into giants. The same patterns that rewarded patience over noise. Coins like this don't explode in value overnight. They mature, quietly, relentlessly, and there's something else most people don't consider: national pride. As countries mature, they look back. They preserve. They celebrate. Museums expand. Private collectors compete. Governments themselves start reclaiming pieces of their monetary history. When that happens, demand doesn't come from casual buyers. It comes from institutions and serious collectors with deep pockets. And those buyers don't negotiate over cents. They compete. Now pause for a moment and think about how many times in your life you've seen something dismissed because it looked small. A small company, a small decision, a small investment. And years later, you realized what it became. The 1997 South Africa 2-cent coin belongs to that category of things that whisper instead of shout. In the next part, I will take you deeper.